The comedy movie genre has never been worse than it is now. It feels like forever since we had a great run of comedies like Road Trip, Old School, and The Hangover. You'll probably be surprised to learn that Todd Phillips was the mastermind behind all of these comedies. But you might be even more surprised at how I rank them. This is every Todd Phillips comedy ranked. Before we jump in, I just want to say thank you very much to everyone who voted in the community poll. This was chosen as the video for this month. I'm going to be posting a poll like this every single month, so please make sure to keep up with the community section of my YouTube channel, and you will be able to help decide which video I make for next month. But starting off with number 8, we've got School for Scoundrels, starring Billy Bob Thornton and John Heder. I honestly don't have a ton to say about this movie. This is really the only movie on this list that I don't particularly love, but at the same time, no one bats 1,000. Phillips really got fucked by Harvey Weinstein here. I could probably use a better choice of words there, but yeah, apparently this movie was supposed to be an R-rated film.
You know, I also think the fact that that movie was PG-13, it probably should have been R-rated. It just should have been edgier, you know.
And Weinstein came in last second and said, no, we got to make this PG-13 and you got to make a ton of edits last second. It turned into a disaster. You know, screenplays are usually written over the course of years, not rewritten in the course of a month or even less time. I don't hate this movie, but it's definitely not one on my rewatch list. Number 7, though, we've got The Hangover Part 2. Honestly, if the 7th best movie in your comedy movie filmography is The Hangover Part 2, you're doing pretty damn good for yourself. You know, this movie was definitely panned hard by critics and audiences alike. The biggest thing with this movie is that it's essentially the same exact movie as the first Hangover, except they go to Thailand and all the same events happen, except it's Stu's soon-to-be brother-in-law that goes missing instead of Doug. You know, of course I would have loved something a bit more original. They definitely took the don't reinvent the wheel to the extreme with this one. With that being said, Phillips's direction, the script that he co-wrote with Scott Armstrong, his original writing partner, and the performances by the 3 leads in Ed Helms, Bradley Cooper, and of course Zach Galifianakis are so funny to the point that, you know, you really can't go wrong with this movie. It's not an absolute masterpiece, but it's far from a bad film. Getting to number 6, and this is when the hot takes really come in, because I'm sure many of you would put this as number 1 or number 2 on your list. This very much is because of the fact that the next 5 movies are just so strong and not to do with what I think the overall quality of this film is. We've got Old School. You know, I think this is probably Will Ferrell's best performance of all time. Very strong performances by Vince Vaughn and Luke Wilson as well. Ironically, he actually had to fight to get these guys even in the movie. I mean, believe it or not, there was a time when Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn were not A-listers, and you actually had to beg the studios to allow them to be in the film instead of the studios begging them to be in the movie. You know, Luke Wilson never really got that A-list status, but you know, he did have a run with Idiocracy following up this movie. I would say this is probably his best performance of all. It's not really the set pieces that come to mind with this movie for me. I know for many of you that probably is what you think of when you think of this movie, the many set pieces. For me, I think the dialogue is so strong, and really just the interactions between the 3 leads I find to be so hilarious. It has one of my favorite all-time moments in one of Todd Phillips' film in this exact movie.
A little housewarming. To new beginnings.
Thanks. Actually, I gave this to you for your wedding.
This model?
No, this exact one. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I hope you like it. I love it.
But getting into the top 5, and I can already hear you saying, how the could you rank this movie ahead of Old School? But I'm going to do it anyways because this is my list. This is how I personally feel about the movies. I would love to see what your top 8 are in the comments down below. I think we'll get some interesting choices for sure, and it's always cool to hear other people's perspectives. But at number 5, I've got The Hangover Part 3. I really love what they did with this movie. They really branched out, and this is far from The Hangover Part 2 when it comes to originality. Like, they definitely made this a full-on comedy thriller. It's definitely the darkest of the 3 movies, but it also has some of the funniest moments as well. Of course, the 3 guys, again, are just outstanding. John Goodman was an excellent addition to this movie. Outstanding cinematography as well. I honestly don't understand why this movie got panned so hard. But getting into movie number 4, and honestly, I think we're getting into the territory where you could argue 1, 2, 3, or 4 are the best movie in this list. And, if I made this list next year, I might completely rearrange these movies. But we've got his narrative directorial debut in Road Trip. I just rewatched this movie for the first time in a while, about a month ago at this point. This movie was a lot better than I remembered. One of the best, if not the best, directorial debuts when it comes to comedy movies. Sean William Scott, Breckin Meyer, DJ Qualls, Paul Costanzo, just phenomenal. And the funny thing too is that these guys were not names as well. I mean, I guess like Sean William Scott and Breckin Meyer did end up having bigger careers, but this is just another example of, at the time, no names getting together and Todd really getting the best performances possible from all of them and really sparking their career. This movie really special. It gives you just such a beautiful scenery of the United States, and just much like Old School as well. It's just like the dialogue is so strong in this movie as well. Just so many one-liner laughs throughout the movie that it's just one of those movies that you forgot was as funny as it was because it doesn't have those big moments. This movie also personally reinvigorated a spark in me my love for teenage movies. And as a filmmaker myself, it's funny saying this because we're 2 weeks away from the deadline as I'd record this for Pleasure List's crowdfunding. Thank you so much to all of you who did contribute. I really appreciate that, and I'm so excited to take you every step of the way and just build that community through Discord and Facebook as we go on this journey that is the movie. Indiegogo does do late pledges. They don't open that up until like 3-4 weeks after the campaign ends, so there's nothing you can do at this current moment in time. So I will say the best way to stay up to date when late pledges will open up and when you can become a part of Pleasure List would be by signing up for my email list, which I will be included in the pinned comment and in the description down below. But coming in at number 3, and this was pretty excruciating. I was so close to ranking this number 2. I was so close to ranking this number 4. It landed at number 3. We've got Due Date, Todd Phillips' other road trip comedy. And I would love to hear in the comments down below, which do you prefer between Road Trip and Due Date? For me, ultimately, the deciding factor was just the on-screen chemistry between Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis in this movie is just so fucking hilarious. Like, they bat 1,000 with funny moments. Like, just every single joke lands. And Robert Downey Jr.'s a funny guy, but he is laugh out loud hilarious in this. And honestly, I thought he was the best part of Tropic Thunder, but I think he puts his role in Tropic Thunder to shame with his role as Peter in Due Date. And then, of course, Zach Galifianakis, I mean, he's just phenomenal in anything. Anytime you pair him and Todd Phillips together, it's just going to be one of the funniest performances ever. He plays essentially the same exact role that he plays as Alan in The Hangover, but, that's just a role that's never going to get old, and you love to see him in all these different situations. You really see Todd Phillips' growth as a filmmaker in this movie. There's a bit more forward momentum. It just feels so much bigger, and it's cool to see his maturity. This was made 10 years after his narrative debut in Road Trip, and yeah, I mean, it just so ever so slightly edges out Road Trip for me.
Why are your father's ashes in a coffee can even?
Because he's dead, Peter.
But coming in at number 2, obviously there are 2 movies left. This is one that's not going to be mentioned very often. I think that's an afterthought to a lot of people, but I think that's a real shame because I think this is one of his funniest works, and I consider him to be the funniest comedy movie director of all time. We've got Starsky and Hutch starring Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. I have long said that I consider Ben Stiller to be the most talented actor of all time. I know it's a bit of a hot take, but you look at Ben Stiller and he can play any role. He has just played such a wide array of roles. His range is insane. I would say this is my favorite role that Ben Stiller's ever played. This is the hardest that he has ever made me laugh. And Owen Wilson, I mean, yeah, you can probably see the Wedding Crashers poster behind me. I mean, it's a bit cut off, but that is my all-time favorite movie. I don't say this lightly when I say, I think this is my favorite performance by Owen Wilson as well. Just really attesting to what Todd Phillips can pull out of actors, and like even some of the strongest actors of all time, he pulls out what no one else has been able to. Just such a fun movie all around. Just one you can always go back to. Just such a great classic crime comedy. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
Coming in at number 1, it's the elephant in the room. I know you know which one I'm about to say, especially because we did part 2 and part 3, and he was, of course, the director of number 1. We've got The Hangover. This is Todd Phillips's magnum opus. You know, there's a reason why this has been the comedy movie event of the 21st century, something that I don't know will ever be topped when it comes to creating that sort of buzz around an original R-rated comedy.
He's jacking his little weenus.
Pull yourself together, man.
Not at the table, Carlos.
Think about how I talk about all of the roles that Todd Phillips had to fight for, all the actors he had to fight for to get in the prior movies. And you look at The Hangover, and it's like Bradley Cooper, Zach Galifianakis, Ed Helms. I mean, these are household names. Everyone knows the movie. Everyone knows the performances. But he, too, had to fight tooth and nail to get these guys in the movie, to the extent that he had to make significant financial sacrifices just to allow the studio to let him make this movie with the actors that he wanted. This is my favorite comedy movie performance of all time, with Zach Galifianakis as Alan. This was definitely the movie that crowned Todd Phillips the greatest comedy movie director of all time. There's just so much to say about it, and I do have so much more that I say in what makes The Hangover unlike any other comedy movie of all time. Here.